couldn't see what I was doing. Hey, everybody, you know, it's funny. I did that first little tone pot, that first little like volume swap, and I could hear my G string went way out of tune. I was like, ah, shoot, that ruins everything. So I couldn't do the on Still the Night, that part. Hey, Matt, everybody, what's happening? Well, thank you. Bigger Tower in the house, Ben, Lionheart, Tony. Got all kind of Braxel. Everybody's here. Yo, guys, Gibsunday. How's it hanging? Are you tuning yours just like me? Thought we needed to do Gibsunday in honor of Indy being finally at 100. Good to catch you live, Rob. Thank you, Mark. Play some rock and roll Led Zeppelin. I think it's one of the Led Zeppelin songs I don't actually know how to play. Greetings from Glasgow. Wow. Hello. Ben. Yes, lots of friends here. I have a relic Les Paul. You can see it in my thumbnail. From Brian. Sorry. My wife brought to my attention, she's like, you know, you should really say the name of the person whose comment you're reading. That way people know who you're responding to, which is a great tip. Braxol says, I named my Les Paul Ginger because it's a custom shop copperburst. Dude, your Les Paul is insane in the membrane. And that is an actual factual. Braxol got a killer. What, is yours an, it's an R9, isn't it? I don't know any corn. Darren prayed. Hey, Mark, Robert, how are you finding your new pots? Yeah, I dig them. You know, I'm not too honestly picky about that kind of stuff. As long as it worked, you know, was all I really was concerned about. And so a lot of people were asking me like, what pots did you replace it with, and all that stuff. And I'm sure that makes a difference. But they gave me some options of pots, you know, for it, and I forget what was the one. He's like, you know, a lot of people like these. They were like super expensive, and I was like, I don't know that I was like, what are these other ones? So he just used like some all parts ones, and I was like, that's totally fine. Like, I just want them to work. They couldn't fix the pots, I'm afraid. They tried to. I don't think they just had like the stuff to work on, you know, individual pots. But some people were telling me in the comments that, you know, maybe I could send them away and get them worked on, and I don't think that I personally care enough about that, because in the video I mentioned and some people were commenting about it, that I said, you know, the guitar's not all original anymore, which is fine. You know, I didn't care about keeping it original. I just wanted it to be working. Because after all that time, I was like, you know, I never really had thought about it. I was like, you know, I've never even heard what the guitar really sounds like. I just know what it sounds like on one thing. But shop for vintage pots. I might like down the road or something, or maybe like try to get the other ones fixed. But I mean, like, to me, these sound totally fine. Because the ones they were recommending, it was like $200 a pot or something like that. I'm like, no, I don't care that much about it. Daniel, how can I make original music? Man, the best thing you can do is just start, you know, with one simple idea, and just remember that anything can be a riff, anything can be a song. And just kind of build off of it. You know, don't try to write a whole song. Just try to write one idea and then build off of that. Yeah, they were telling me, unless I misheard him, I thought he said $200 for the pot. I can't remember the name brand that he said. But basically, the the pots that are in this guitar are all like metal, and like I said, whenever we took the back plate off, it was cool. And Pat, the guy who originally looked at it, and then Ron did the work. Pat was just like, "Oh, it's a '79." He's like, "You can tell." He's like, "Because the last thing that they put in guitars is the electronics, and all of the electronics were serial numbered first 1979." So he was just like, he's like, "Yeah, these are good pots, you know, all this kind of stuff." My son's doing really lima beef. My son's doing really good with his guitar stuff, you know. So we're gonna practice again today. So essentially, what we have going on with that, which I think has worked out really well, is I'm teaching him the stuff, and then he's teaching what he learned to my wife. So it makes it fun, and then we all get like a sticker to go on the back of a guitar. Have you ever turned off delay? Never. Not even once. No, I'm just joking. I have. RJ, how do you keep your... Hey, buddy. The man with the plan. RJ, how can I say your last name? I pronounce it RJ Ranquillo. Is how I would say your last name. But now that you made that video saying it all the different ways, it's wrecked me. I'm always like, wait, how should I say this? How to keep the studio so clean? You know what, man? To be honest, during the week, it's completely destroyed when I'm shooting videos and stuff like that. And I just made it a point that usually on Sundays, I go through and I actually clean and vacuum and have like a Swiffer. And I just found that, and I'm not like a neat freak or anything like that at all. I just found like having this place clean to start the week on Monday makes the whole workflow of the rest of the week go so much better. Because Monday I had the lights out, and then for the rest of the week, I have my lights out and all that kind of stuff. But I found just each Sunday I spend some time. I just go through and clean and dust everything, and it just makes the whole week just flow. Heavy Drop T, dude, thank you for the super chat. Here's a bend with your name on it. This is called the Heavy Drop T bend. Heavy Drop T bend just happened. RJ, that's what you're doing today? Then hey, yeah, I'm telling you, man. You know what? I used to have cables everywhere in here, just stuff scattered all over the place. And it's not that it wasn't functioning, because I function well in mess. But I just kind of like got to where I was like, I like the feel of the room when I walk in here, and the stuff is like kind of all in its place and easier to get to. And as soon as I started doing that, that was probably like a year or so ago. Just like once a week, I go through and vacuum and do all that stuff, and I love the vibe of the room so much better. Zach, what's poppin'? CTS pots when possible. Yeah, I have no clue. I know these are all parts pots, so I'm sure that there's someone out there who will just be like, those are the worst pots. But I don't know. The volume goes up and the volume goes down. It sounds good. It's roomy. It's a roomy room. I'll flip it over to some better audio. RJ, I forgot, man. I realized last night I never hit send on my message to you, because I gotta like pick RJ's brain about how his live stream stuff. If you guys aren't, for one, if you're not subscribed to RJ, go subscribe to him. He has one of my favorite YouTube channels, but also your live streams look incredible. So I gotta figure out like what you're doing. Brad, the guitar does in fact go to 11. There's a switch right back now. I want to practice each day as long as possible. I think with practicing, the more you can not set, like, obviously if your time is very limited, then you might need to have that scheduled time of like, I have an hour to practice and that's kind of it. But if you don't have any of those limitations, I recommend not putting any of those on yourself and just play, and just practice, because if you have time available, you might only practice an hour if your goal is I'm gonna practice an hour, but you might have 2 hours available. So I think the less you can kind of put boundaries on times, the better it is for your playing. Yeah, your T3? Hashtag, bro, tone hair. I'm gonna have like a hair dye or something. Tone hair. Changing strings last night on a bunch of guitars. This was one of them. Jesco, what's up, my brother? Head and cab or combo? Man, I've always been a head and cab kind of guy. I've only ever owned one combo amp in my life. LP standard is a good guitar. Yeah, sure, man. That's a totally good guitar. Can you do some Tom Morello? I don't know too much Tom Morello. So like that. You know what, man? I swear my guitar has stayed in tune perfectly all day, and right before I went live, man, it went out of tune. Would you consider getting a guitar from Kiesel? You know what? I've played a bunch of their guitars, and I've just never really been a fan of them. So, it would just depend if I found the right one. What's the weirdest guitar you've ever had? I think one of the weirdest ones, I had a flying, like an offset Randy Rhoads V for a while. And that's probably the weirdest guitar I've ever had. Telecaster with or without neck humbucker? I like a Telecaster. Telecasters look fine with humbuckers to me if they have 2 humbuckers. Like it has to be neck and bridge. I don't necessarily like the look of, single coil bridge, hum neck. But, that's just me being weird. How many guitars do I have? Almost enough. I'm just one more, right? Favorite pickup? It depends. Overall pickup, I like the Friedman Classic humbucker that's in my Cronus. The P90s, I like those. Sorry, I said Friedman. Fishman Classic humbucker, Fishman Fluence that's in there. For P90s, I love those Friedman P90s that are in my Vintage T. And then just like a normal passive humbucker, man, it's tough. These are some of my favorite sounding pickups, these T-tops. Sorry, Godzilla. You act like him. I saw a Godzilla. I'm not sure what you mean, man. I don't think I've ever done a Godzilla video. It doesn't sound familiar. Which means nothing. I have no memory. I get asked about videos all the time. I'm like, I don't even remember making that video. Yeah, I love those vintage tees, man. Whatever those Friedman pickups are. I got a bridge P90 with the Friedman P90 to go into my gold top, because I think it just sounds so much better than that antiquity that's in there. I don't know any Slipknot either, I'm afraid. I'm gonna flip it over and let you guys hear some Tony tone, so if it'll stay in tune. Don't want to Heyo! Sorry, I saw a super chat. Are you back in love with your Les Paul now? That's like, dude, I've never been out of love with this guitar. This is my numero uno. Oh, dude, Tom, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Your fingers sound epic. Well, I appreciate that, and my fingers appreciate it too. I am practicing the monthly speed challenge. So basically, I started at 120, and I'm doing like a triplet kind of feel. And I am at 135 now, comfortably. So I feel like I'm right on track to make it to, I think the 19th is when that video went up. And I think I'll be able to do the 150. And it's really been changing the way that I'm picking. Hey, Scott, what's happening, buddy? You know, I would love to get a hollow body at some point, like a 335. I was just texting my buddy Sean Tubbs did a video about these. I keep seeing these Eastman guitars popping up, and I was just kind of asking him, you know, some different stuff about it and stuff like that. But you know, and he said that they were really nice. But I think I'm just gonna wait and, you know, eventually get like a 335 or maybe a 355 or something. Brax, Revv D20 or Dynamis, which is better for you? Well, for me, because I already have the two notes, is the thing. So that's kind of the big consideration here. Depends on what gear you already have. For me, the normal Dynamis, you know, makes sense because I already have the 2 notes technology. So, like I said, for me, that one makes the most sense. You know, it has more tubes, it's gonna have more headroom, all that kind of stuff. If you don't already have the 2 notes technology, the D20 then I think makes more sense because then you don't need to get, you know, another load box and all that kind of stuff. The D20 was like super impressive. I really like the amount of gain that it has. Like it gets you into that breakup territory, but you know, it's a great sounding amp. So again, completely depends on your gear situation. I'm curious. I wonder if there's a way to like to slave out the D20 and run like another amp into it. Probably not, but that would be kind of cool. So, and also, you know, then it depends, you know, on other factors like budget, you know, because if you're gonna get like a Dynamis and say a 2 notes live, it's basically like triple the price of a D20. That's why it's so funny because I did that demo and there were so many people commenting about how expensive it is, and I was like, man, you know, I look at that and not that it's not a large amount of money for that amp. You know, $1,200 is expensive, but I'm like, but I don't think people are like doing the math of what is involved in it. You know, because I looked up a couple other pedal platform amps that are, you know, just a clean channel around 20 watts, and they were all like $2,000. And I was like, you know, and those amps don't do anything other than just have an amazing clean. And you still need to mic it or something like that. So I thought that was kind of funny. Bridge pickup height. This bridge pickup is actually pretty high. These pickups are fairly high up. You can see, but look how low my neck pickup is. My neck pickup's really low. I did see the Motley Crue movie, and I thought it was pretty good. Reissue of the 59 Twin Tweed, but it's a Joe Bonamassa signature in it. Sounds like the original. Nice, that's cool. Downside is it'll probably be like $10,000. So basically, I'll never own one. You know, I think the Katanas are great. There was a lot of people were kind of comparing the Katana to the D20. I'm like, man, you can't compare a solid state to a tube amp, and it's just because I know this because my buddy he bought one of those, and he took it, you know, to gig with it and stuff like that, and he did one show with it, and he's like, nope, not anymore, and he used the Fender Mustang, I think one of the older ones, live a lot, and he you know, and he said that one works great live. He said for some reason the Katana was not a good live amp. And he went back to, I believe he's using his Mustangs and his Orange and stuff like that again. But he said something like the Katana is great at home for like bedroom levels, stuff like that. It's fantastic. He said live, it just couldn't, it just got smothered by everything. Yeah, and that's it. Like I had an old Mustang 3, I think the second generation. I loved that amp. I thought it sounded great. The same buddy who has the Katana has, you know, I think an older Mustang and a newer Mustang. He returned the Katana, you know, like I said, because he said for live it didn't hold up live, but I think that's what he had. Yeah, so he went back and he said the Mustang did great live, but I think he's using his Orange now. You know, there's for some reason tubes in an amp, you know, they work so well with a band. I don't know why. New Marshall. I really want to try one of those Marshall Studios, like the 4 input one. I think it's so cool. Word on the street is your guitar is fake. True or false? Well, what do you mean by fake? What do you mean by true? This is not fake, and we actually confirmed it when I had the pots replaced because all the pots were from 1979, and tech who was looking at it, he's like, nah, this thing, because he was actually showing me some cool stuff that I hadn't heard before. He's like, you can actually look at the way the fin is cut. He said the 70s Les Pauls he was like pointing out all these things that are a little bit different on 70s, and because as soon as I took it out of the case, he was like, oh, it's a 70s, and then when he opened up the back, he's like, it's a 79, and he knew what it was and everything. So it's definitely not fake, although some people want to say that it's a Gibson. What is my least favorite style of guitar? Headless guitars, for show. I'm a troll. You got to get mad or it's not fun for me. Well, I'm not going to be getting mad, so I guess you won't be having fun, man. DSL-40 is a great amp. I hear a lot of people tell me about the DSL amps. I've never played one, but I'm interested to try one. Because a lot of people ask me about the DSLs because I have the Marshall Origin over there. Favorite delay pedal is probably the H9 now. To be honest, I love the delays in that thing so much. They're so like rich sounding. Can I suggest you a guitar? Says Shakar. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. What is your budget, man? Let us know your budget, and I'm sure if I don't see it, someone in here will have a great suggestion for you. Can you tell me again why you play a diminished 1/2 step below the minor pentatonic scale, Braxel? I have no clue. Andy Wood showed me that. Or was it Andy Wood? I can't remember who it was. I just know that it worked, and I was just like, cool. Around $400. You can, with that budget, I would actually try to get something used if possible. I always recommend this. Sometimes you can get lucky and get like a used Mexi Strat, depending on what kind you're wanting to get. But luckily nowadays, $400 gives you a lot of options. You can check out Harley Benton stuff. The Wampler Plexi pedal is very good. I liked it a lot. I liked their, what is the one? It's red. What is it? I can't remember the name of the pedal. I liked it better, and I love the tumness. The pickups in here, these are called Gibson T-top pickups. You can't do bends with vibrato. Well, the best thing you can do, man, is to practice that stuff separately. Practice doing vibrato, and then practice doing bends. And then try to combine them. And just go really slow, Jason Wade, did I figure out? So all of those videos should be 720, except for the fretboard decoder. I've messaged them, and they're still trying to figure out why those are 360. But because I'm uploading them in HD, and for some reason something's happening, so they're still actually working on that. But all the other ones should all be, HD 720. Jason, are there other ones than the fretboard decoder? Let me know if other than those 3 videos, if there's something else. I have not. I recently heard someone mention those. Yeah, no, all good, Jason. Let me know if there's any other ones than those 3. Thank you, Jason. Because it was the little intro video was also that way, and then I re-uploaded it and did some stuff, and it is now the Where to Begin video. That should be 720. JHS, hey, Jay Palmer. Amazing Marshall. I have not, man. I don't know if I've ever played a JHS pedal, to be honest. Yep, yep, it's a Kalamazoo guy. I don't think they ever. No, this thing is heavy. That was another thing when they took it out of the case. Uh, Pat was just like, "Oh my god, how much is?" Because I'll have to weigh it again because I don't know if it's turned into a fish story with me, and I'm like, "Oh, it's this much weight." I know it's over 12. It's over 12 pounds. I was thinking it was close to 13. It is comically funny though how heavy it is. Everyone who picks it up just laughs. Or like, I'm like, yeah, you sit and play this guitar. No, the other one is not. The other one is heavy. My gold top is heavy, but it's not that heavy. What H do you have? The Max or a harmonizer? Which one would you say? I have the Max. Any plans on doing a Shred Wars with Jared Dines? Not at that. This time, man. Stuff like that is totally up to to those guys. If Jared asked me about it, then I would, of course, want to do it. But I'd say he's pretty busy. He's always working on stuff. Do you like the? Ooh, I do like that pedal. Boom. This was my favorite, my absolute favorite pedal from NAMM. Is this one? So I will be doing a video on this. Uh, I loved it. As soon as I played one chord through it, and I was like, "You guys have a good pedal," and it's so simple. I mean, there's like, you're not sitting there fiddling with knobs and stuff like that. It's so simple. It sounds so good, and I'm just like, I was like, I want one of these pedals, so I just got it. You see the latest Levi Clay video? Why are all these YouTube channels fighting each other? There's plenty of room for everyone. Huh? I haven't seen it, man. So, what channel? If you don't mind saying, I'll check it out. But what channels was he talking about? I don't know of any channels fighting. Andy, I was missing you. I'm glad you're back, man. This is my favorite guitar that I own. I haven't blown the D20 yet. Same for a V stock. I haven't. I've been taking care of it. It's staying away from sharp objects and stuff like that. Surprisingly, I'm rough with guitars, but I don't know why amps. I'm like super paranoid and careful with, like carefully sitting the amp down and stuff like that. Guitars, I'm just kind of like I'm definitely a lot rougher with them. Get guitar hack, guitar hack. Yeah! Let me flip it over, and we'll do some more riffing. Levi went after Stevie T. Huh. I have to watch it. I don't honestly watch too much of Stevie T stuff. I watch a lot of Levi's stuff. I think Levi is an incredible guitar player. I love watching his live streams where he's transcribing stuff. What an amazing guitar player! I have his what is it? His country book. I have two or three of Levi's books and everything. He's a monster player. I've never met him, but he seems cool to me. What do you think of the world record 999 BPM guy? I mean, I think having a world record would be dope. Your thoughts on BC Rich? You know what? I don't know if I've ever played anything other than a BC Rich Warlock, to be honest. Talking about Lynn Fricker and CVT. Oh, okay. I'll have to watch it, man. To see. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like I said, I don't know I didn't know too much like bickering and stuff in the channel. I pretty much stay away from all of that stuff, man. you know, I just want to play guitar. You know what? I've tried to play slide, man. I'm just not good at it. It's something that you really have to dedicate time to, and I haven't been able to do that yet. That was another thing about this guitar. I thought it was funny. So many comments were just saying like, I can't believe you didn't change the pots yourself and stuff like that, and which would be totally useful to learn how to do that. But my thing with like learning that side of guitar, I'm just now getting into like actually setting up guitars and stuff like that. And it's because I was like, you know, really, what's the right word for it? I'm like, that side of guitar doesn't interest me right now. And I'm not very good at dedicating time to stuff that I just don't have an interest in. Once I'm interested in it, then I'm like, oh, I want to learn that. But until then, you know, until that day comes, I'm just like, I have no interest in it. I don't want to spend hours trying to figure out how to solder a pot on the guitar right now, especially not learning how to do it on this guitar or something like that. But I'm like, I would rather take it to someone and use that time, and I'll work on something, you know, else. So maybe that's a dumb way to go about it, but I thought that some of the comments were funny. I can't believe you don't know how to do that. You're so stupid. Yeah, see, that's my thing. I'm like, I'm not confident in understanding how. I don't know how to solder stuff. I don't want like lead solder in the house and stuff like that with Mason. So it's just a lot of different, because I've heard like the good solder is the lead kind. Drama doesn't make you play better, so why bother? Look at that. Bryce is on the money. Sorry. So here is some better tones. 162 guys. Wow. I'm sorry. 162 you guys have to listen to me talk and not play guitar. Do any of your guitars have a middle pickup? They do. I have quite a few guitars with middle pickups, and I screw them all the way down flush with the pickguard so it gets out of my way. Otherwise, I hit them the way I pick. Because I learned on guitars that didn't have middle pickups. I had Strats, but I wound that down back then. So I've never had guitars with middle pickups that were like, you know, slightly high. Yeah, talking, riffing, always fun. Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, so let me give you some tones, then I'll switch to the gold top. Because, yo, Gibsunday, you know how it is. Random notes. Woo. I had an SG and I sold that puppy and replaced it with this. Unfortunately, I can say I will probably never get a SG again. They are great guitars, just not for me. Oh yeah. Gibsunday. Gibsunday in a nutshell. There we go. Here we are. Nope, I lost it. I lost my camera. There we go. You guys can either not see me or you can see me the whole time. I love the Richie Cuts. I changed the strings on it last night and got it bumped up to 10s, and I like it so much better now. I haven't played many Deans either, I'm afraid. Yeah, you know what? I love the way SGs sound. I don't like the bridge placement on them for my hand. Not here to see you. I'm here to hear you. Hey, I feel bad about both, to be honest. You'll have one soon, Scott? Nice, dude. What kind are you getting? Are you getting P90s, humbuggies? You know what? I have never played Lawrence Petros pedals, but I keep seeing that. I met him at was it Witternam this year? I want to say I have such a bad memory, but yeah, I've never tried one, you know. But I keep hearing about them. So maybe someday I'll cross paths with one. Crazy Train on a gold top. Dude, really good stuff. Nice. I'll have to check it out. It's almost 1 o'clock here. So that'll be about time whenever we wrap things up. But so here's the gold top if you guys want to hear it. I kicked the gain up because these pickups are really really low output. How many pedals do I own? I'm not sure. I did just sell a bunch of them a few months back. P90 Scott, nice. Yeah, I sold a bunch to my buddy Ike at Flipside Music. I sold like 30 pedals. It was a lot, but you know, I just had stuff sitting around, and I was like, man, this is ridiculous. Why do I have so much stuff sitting around that I'm not even using? And I might do that with some guitars here before too long. It is going to make me break out my dude. Don't fight it, bro. Come on, get it out. Get the Gibson out. Look, I'm looking right at you, caffeine thug. I'm gonna sit here and wait until I have confirmation that you got your Les Paul out. You know, I'm gonna do the same tapping lick until you tell us that you took your guitar out. Do it. That's right. You didn't want me to bust out the second lick, did you? Arcane P90s. Nice. Max, what's happening, man? These are 10 to 46. I use 10 to 46 on everything. So here's the gold tops with some better audio for you. Gotta be one of the greatest riffs ever. Woo! Check, check. Okay, make sure my volume's on. I actually, so part of the, that was one of the pedals, I've mentioned this before. I'm not going into detail because I'm waiting to do the video about it. But I was putting together a pedal board that I wanted to do something very specific. And I have the original cab pedal, and Derek over at Two Notes was telling me about the Two Notes cab M pedal that was coming out much smaller. So I waited on it to come out, but I had to wait until NAMM for it to release. You know, they didn't even have them. So yes, I have one. It's not here. I've sent it away for the pedal board build. But yes, very good. I love Ben Eller. You know what? Ben Eller is probably one of my top 3 YouTube channels that I love to watch. You know, I just like everything about Ben. You know, he's just a cool guy. And I mean, a terrific player. He's one of those, like, I mean, he's like a Nashville level guy, you know, so he's incredible. Black Star amps, you know what? I honestly, I know, like, Black Star seems to get some hate, but I've only had good experiences with Black Star amps. I did a clinic last year at Guitar Fest, and they just have these tiny little Black Star amps there, and I was like, uh-oh. And, you know, I plugged into it, and I was like, this thing sounds great. I was blown away with how good this little Black Star sounded. So, Doug Rappaport. He's one of my favorite guitar players. I did a video about, I think maybe it was about the albums. I talked about Pete Thorne, Doug Rappaport, and Sean Tubbs. And without a doubt, the 2 guys in the past, you know, 5 years, however long it's been, that I've discovered whose playing really, really altered the way that I felt like I played guitar. Like, I was just like, I want to play guitar like them. Was Doug Rappaport and Sean Tubbs. Both of those guys, to me, made me, like, really step back and just be like, whoa, what are they doing? Why is every note they're playing connecting with me so well? So, kind of Eric Huffman. Kind of your channel. What are your 5 favorite bands? Probably Van Halen, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, of course. You know, the classics. You know, then probably stuff like Extreme and Eric Johnson. Like, there's a lot, but would you sell your kidney for your guitar? I mean, it's obvious, but still, of course I would. Depends which guitar, though. You love your Katana 100? Like I said, I've played some Katanas. Amazing amps, you know. They sound great. Whoa. Oh, I'm on the wrong pickup. I'm like, I can't tune. I do that sometimes. I try not to, man. That's a good way to burn your toggle switches out. I do it very rarely. What do I think about? You know, I really like PRS guitars. I was just checking out their CE line of stuff. Just got a Friedman BE Deluxe 50, dude. What a crazy amp, right? Question: what gain do you have on the back? You have your gain. What's it called? Gain stages, I guess, maybe. Do you have yours on low, medium, or high? I ended up switching mine to medium. But what a, like, crazy versatile, powerful rock and roll amp. I used to have a Jackson V a long time ago. I no longer do. Nah, man, I pretty much stay in standard tuning, or maybe drop D. Suggestions for my audio interface. You know what? I've had this Focusrite 18i, depending on how big of one you want. I went with the 18i20 solely because it was rack mountable. Was a big reason why I wanted it, and I had a couple friends who had them and said, you know, nothing but good stuff about them. So I have the 18i20, and before that I had the Focusrite 2i2, maybe yeah, something like that. Play with your teeth. Yeah, see, and that's bad for your teeth. So. I already see like big old like chunks missing out of my teeth from playing with strings. Sandimas Pro. Oh yeah, shoot yeah, man. Cherville is always on point. What pickups are these? They look cool. So these are Seymour Duncan Antiquities, and I think the neck is phenomenal sounding. The bridge I don't like as much. My Vintage T has P90s in it as well. Not sure how familiar you are with my guitars, but I like the bridge pickup in that one a lot. Should I switch to the Vintage T just for a minute? I know it's Gibsunday, but just if you want to hear the difference in P90s, I'll let you guys decide that. No? Alright. Uh-oh. Lionheart. In your face, Lionheart. Deal with it. So I'll flip it over to better audio, and I'll try to switch guitars. Shoot, hold on. Ugh. I don't want to lay the Les Paul down. I gotta switch. Get a stand here. Alright, so I'll flip it over. And let you guys hear this, both of these pickups. I'll turn the gain down a little bit too, because I have it kind of rocking to make up for the output of this bridge. Alright, and you guys can tell me which one you dig better. Obviously, we've got quite a few, I guess, differences. The fact that this is a mahogany body, you know, mahogany neck, that's going to be alder and maple. Anyways, here it is. I'll try to play, you know, roughly the same thing on both of them. don't know. And my, oh wait, did I flip the wrong one? No, that should be working. Check. There we go. My opinion, the Friedman bridge pickup smokes that Antiquity. It has that singy style of tone to it. So yeah, so I just think that that bridge pickup in the Vintage T is much, fuller sounding than this P90. Yeah, it's a whole different sound. Good sound, just a little bit different, and I'm curious to see how that pickup reacts to, like I said, mahogany and all that kind of stuff. But any final questions out there, guys? Gibsunday wrapping up. I know a little trepidation with the Vintage T, but what can you do? There's a $10 word for you today. Trepidation. Chicken bacon, please. Woo! Marshall Valve State 150 amp, dude. Congrats, man. Love the Friedman Calais as well. A very different sound from the Vintage T, though. Videos this week. I am still working on this collab video that I'm doing with Pete Thorne, Tim Pierce, Jared Dines, and I believe Sean Tubbs is going to be the final person involved in that one. So I'm working on putting that together. And what else? The Vintage T demo at some point. I don't keep saying that. I asked my buddy Brian Wampler got a Vintage T Classic, I think is what Friedman's calling them, with a more like traditional, telly style pickup, and it has actually a B bender, I think, in it. So I asked him to do a solo on the outro. I'm waiting on that, and I don't know. I'm still working on shooting the lesson course for the new beginner rock and roll guitar course that I'm doing, and then updating some of the other ones if you're already a student on there. And that stuff, it took an extra week. I wasn't accounting for my son having spring break all of last week, so that was basically like a week of me not getting anything done, because I did basically the bare minimum that I could get done that week, just because I feel bad if he's sitting downstairs. I mean, even though he's playing games and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't want him down there by himself. So I would just basically like get my stuff done as soon as possible, like whatever was the necessities, just the videos for that week, get them done, get them knocked out, and then the rest of the week, I wasn't really able to do much. Put your amp full everything. It would be good for now. Even if I did turn the amp up on full everything, it wouldn't change the sound for you guys, because of the way that your level wouldn't change. It would just be really loud on me. I'm a musician for a living. But if you can call what I do being a musician, then yes. I don't know. I make YouTube videos, and I attempt to play my pentatonic scale real good as much as possible. Can we get 6 more thumbs up? Yeah, 100 thumbs up. Come on. I'll hold this bend until we get 100 thumbs up. I'm never gonna let it go. Never. Whew. Good, I was about to give up. Lawler vintage. I haven't had any Lawler pickups, but I hear people talk about them all the time. and say how good they are. You know, I get approached by, I've been approached by 4 or 5 different pickup companies to try different pickups, but the issue with that is, it takes a lot for me to want to change a pickup in a guitar, oddly enough. And again, that's not something that I know how to do, and I don't really like I said, right now I'm just not interested in taking the time to learn how to do it. Maybe down the road, but so like doing like pickup videos and stuff like that aren't really an option for me because I would have to take it to someone else and then pay to have them put it in there and all, you know. And to me, it doesn't make sense. And I can't think of a guitar other than this one. I was noticeably not happy with this pickup where I was like, all right, I want to put like something different in there. But other than that, I'm going to go hang out with the family. And I hope you all have a good rest of your Sunday. I'm sure Pete Thorne is going live soon. Or maybe he already is live. Make sure you go tune into him. He's the legend. Brother, thanks for enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you guys. Yeah, you guys all have a great day. Yo, Joe Walsh has the last riff. I get slide, but oh, dude, Chris, what's up, bro? Well, way to tune in late, man. I'm just joking. Pete's not live yet. Yeah, I'm sure he will be. Of course, if by chance someone has checked out Pete Thorne's channel, yo, check that out. So, and also, if you're still here, Guitar Pit, find him in the chat. Chris, if you're still here, leave a comment. Subscribe to Chris. Chris has a killer YouTube channel called the Guitar Pit. He is part of the Friedman Addiction Club. It was Chris. I'll end with this. It was Chris and then another friend of ours, Michael Nielsen, who Michael's the first guy I saw with the Friedman Vintage T. And I was like really looking into him, and Chris, I think Chris had started taking guitar lessons from me. And then I think you got your Vintage T, or maybe you had it before. I can't remember, but I remember watching your video about it and just watching the video over and over again because I'm like, I really want one of these Vintage Ts. And then I got a Vintage T, and then I got a Cali. I got a Cali first, and then that kind of set Michael and Chris down like this Cali path, and they had set me down the Vintage T path. So we were just horribly feeding into each other with all these guitars that we were getting, and it's really funny. And now we're all like, we all want a NoHo from Friedman. So I think of the three of us, I'll be the first to have one in my possession. I won't get to keep it, but I think I might be the first one to have one to like check out. Black over burst, and it's like, yeah, the cycle just continued. And it is funny you're saying that, Chris, because I was asking them about sending me a Vintage T with humbuckers in it. I was like, can I just like borrow one with humbuckers for a while, just to see, which which is a death sentence, because I'm already like, I'm gonna love it and I'm gonna want to keep it, and then you got to get G14 clearance from the wife, and it's a dangerous game. I will say that the next guitar that we are getting is not for me. I'm off the table for a while for guitars, but Gabby is looking at. She wants another nice Taylor acoustic, so that is definitely the next guitar that will be acquired, or at least as far as I can tell. That's the next one, because I think I should chill for a little bit. Oh, I'm out of here. Ah! So later, guys. Have a good rest of your day. And if you got a Gibson, rock it out. If you don't, rock out anyways. Gibsunday is what I'm talking about. Peace out, guys. I'll see you all later. Bye, I guess. Later. Bye, guys. I'm still here. You all fell for my trick. Deal with it. Deal with it. I can't end the broadcast and do that.